am delighted to be here with Jeff Kaplan, who is the Managing Director of THINKStratgies. So, Jeff, I read an article you wrote recently about something you called the next SaaS wave, which you referred to as customer lifetime value management. Tell me what you mean by that.
Well, it's interesting because what this Dreamforce event has always been about is how to better capture customers through sales and marketing and give them an experience that makes them want to stay with you. But in truth, Salesforce and most of the other companies that it does business with here at Dreamforce doesn't get involved with the back end of the process, the fulfillment, if you will, of the process. And I think there's going to need to be a bridge between that front end and back end, and success will truly be measured in how those two parts work together so that you can obtain lifetime value and manage that value to its optimal level. So what I'm trying to popularize is that idea of looking at the lifetime value of the customer in terms of business processes, as opposed to just the revenue you gain. It's about the profitability of those services as well. So it's gotten a little bit of attention, and we'll see how far it goes.
Good. Now, with respect to IoT, how do you think that's going to change how companies interact with their customers?
Well, it's interesting because Salesforce has just announced its own cloud IoT, which is always good when they anoint a new area. And I think they rightly understand their idea of the Internet of the customer, which is the connection of everything to a customer. And increasingly, we as consumers, and now more and more in the corporate world, think about the products we sell, the services we sell and consume, and expect there should be, with the connectivity that comes with those products and services, a greater, first of all, response time, greater predictability in terms of their performance and their availability, and as a result, greater value associated with all of that. And what Salesforce is trying to do is allow its partners and its customers to gain greater insight from the information. So in conjunction with the new IoT cloud, they announced a new platform. We have Lightning, and now we have Thunder. Thunder is the designated platform for IoT, and the reason for it is that IoT, because of the magnitude of all these things that we're collecting data from, requires a more industrial strength data collection vehicle, which is Thunder, the platform, and the analytics that go along with that. So they're really emphasizing, it kind of builds on the Wave idea that they've been talking about for the past year or so. It takes Wave to the next level and tries to use it to capture data from the things, analyze that data from the things, and through machine-to-machine type learning, artificial intelligence, create commands that can automatically react to how that device or that thing is behaving so that we can better support customers.
I like that Internet of Customers, IOC now, right, instead of IoT?
That's exactly right.
So why do you think companies are so hesitant to initiate IoT deployments right now?
Well, first of all, there's almost an infinite number of opportunities out there, and most organizations, when they think about their products, don't think about it in a connected sense. So they have to get an idea of what that means, and there's a lot of security implications, privacy implications, and integration implications. So, first of all, they basically have to herd the internal cats and get all the CXOs in alignment about what they're trying to achieve in terms of their IoT initiatives. And then when they come up with some sort of a vision, and they open up the door and they say, okay, let's find the piece parts to make this happen, and who can we go to? They discover there's no one vendor that has the end-to-end solutions. And then it becomes complicated. They have to sort of sort out what's real and what's not, and how are they going to assemble all these, and how are they going to gather the data, and how are they going to make sure they don't violate anybody's privacy in the process. So it's a pretty daunting task. So you're taking it one step at a time. But like everything else, when they see success stories begin to emerge, that gives them, first of all, greater confidence, gives them an example of success, and it basically pushes them to try to keep pace with their competitors.
So where are we going to see success? Who's going to be successful this next year?
Well, it's interesting. The old world has been leading the way for a long time with what was referred to as M2M. So in the industrial world, we have GE taking a lead. here they showed how Emerson is using its thermostats to change the definition of products to services, and that's what THINKStratgies has been about for a long time. So what they talked about, which I loved, was they're moving from the thermostat business to the comfort solutions and services business. And that's what a lot of other companies are trying to think about. It's how they redefine their purpose and think about how they, as a result, redefine their go-to-market strategies around these things. And you're going to see it in ag tech, you're going to see it in the industrial world, you're going to see it, well, we're already seeing it in transportation with Uber. So I think you're going to see it across a number of different areas. And the health cloud that they just unveiled here has a whole lot of IoT associated with it as well. So it's all interconnected in one way or another.
Jeff, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.